Well, we're making progress on Frankenstroke. Got the carpet back in, got the rear seat back in place. We've got the holes cut for the four-wheel drive and transmission shift levers. The trim's installed. I thought I would give you just a couple of pointers, a couple of things that I've kind of found that help to make this a little bit easier, or at least how I found it was best done. Brought this carpet out here and laid it in starting at the rear and flattened everything out coming forward. And I used the seat studs and the holes for the seat belts as guides to make sure that I had everything located properly. And then what I did is I started with a real small hole in the carpet here. Scissors seem to work best. A pair of heavy-duty scissors. I've got a pair of electrician's snips. They're made for cutting wire and stuff. They're plenty tough enough for this job. And started with a small hole, kind of laid things in, and then cut out from the center of that hole in all four directions until I found the edges of the holes that I had in the floorboard. And then I continued those holes until I had clear view of all four holes for the trims. The shift trims, or the boots, are made to mount directly to the floor, and the carpet stops up here just short of where the screws go through. And that's important because if you leave that carpet hanging over to where it's near that hole, you end up with carpet at the edge of that hole, and as road spray and water or oil or anything else gets splashed up, it has an opportunity to soak into the jute backing on the carpet and into the carpet itself and kind of wick out into out into the cab. So as long as you stop short of the holes, the seal against the floorboard is actually made by the white rubber boot on the bottom of both of these shift boots. So that kind of seals things off and keeps the outside elements out. From there, it's just a matter of lining up the holes and getting these things screwed down. That's kind of a pain, but what I found worked fairly well was I've got a couple of long fine thread drywall screws here that I was able to kind of fish down through here, get it through the top boot, get it through that insulating boot, that white boot underneath, and then I was able to pull everything up so that I could see the tip of this screw and start it into the hole. That kind of helps you to get things lined up, and then you can press things down into place firmly against the floorboard and get your short little screw started. The screws that go in there are only about an inch long, maybe an inch and a quarter. So getting those lined up with that stupid little hole in the floor pan can be a real treat. It's just not easily done. But with those longer screws, you're able to lift the boot out of the way and kind of see what you're doing, and then get things lined up, push the boots back down, and then get your short screws put into place. So I'm about ready to set this front seat in. I don't know whether I ought to do that or not, because we've still got to do a bunch of underdash wiring for gauges. But I'd like to get the seats bolted back into this thing so that I'm able to move it around and I don't have seats hanging out on the back of it out in the weather. It's where I have to keep it in the garage. So I think I'm going to bolt them in. Worst case scenario, if I need to pull it back out, it's not that big a job. So I'll go ahead and get my seat belts bolted down first. Then we'll bolt the seat into place. Get the seat belts all fished in through the openings in the seat, like such. And we'll have 6-passenger seating ready to go here. So we're getting some progress. Gaining a little bit of traction here today. It's a real nice day out here. It's supposed to be a high near 60. So I'm going to try and take advantage of it and make a little progress here. May try and get this wiring harness pulled out too for this repair that needs to be made. But working away, one little thing at a time. All right, well, clearly there's more yet to be done. we've got door skins and thresholds and all sorts of things to put back on here yet. But the carpet's in, the seats are in, everything's bolted down. Sounds a lot better in there already. It's amazing how much sound comes up through the floor on these with these boots either broken or cracked or loose or not in place at all. It makes a big difference having that insulation there and having the floor pan sealed up. So glad to have that all back into place and one step closer to having this thing on the road. The front two windows are working now. Everything there is good. The rear passenger side window goes up and down. I want to make sure I lubricate that one real well. I'll have to pull the door panel off of that one and really juice up that mechanism good before we seal that door up. This one, as we've said, I've still got to do this wiring repair, so I may go ahead and pull that harness out so that we can make that repair here when we've got a minute. But progress nonetheless. Thanks for watching.